Madam Ajogalatico, please, if you can put us on a penalty play. Okay. Ẹ káalẹ́ níbi tí ẹ ti ń wò wá ní àṣálẹ́ yìí. Orúkọ tèmi ni Abiodun Bakare. Èmi ni alákòóso ètò ní àṣálẹ́ yìí. Mo kí gbogbo yín láti ibikíbi tí ẹ bá wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni o, nílẹ̀ Adúláwọ̀ ni o, nílẹ̀ Áfíríkà, tí dé Cuba, Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, Cuba àti ibikíbi tí ọmọ Yorùbá wa bá wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé. A kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Orúkọ tèmi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ni Abiodun Bakare. A ní the president of TYF láàrin wa ní àṣálẹ́ yìí, and you are welcome to TYF tonight. This is a Yoruba Ronu series for today being Saturday, 7th of February 2026. My name is Abiodun Bakare. I'm the host for tonight, and the president of TYF, Bolaniwa, Bolaniwa is with us tonight. He'll be speaking with us. For those of you who are joining us who do not know or understand what TYF is all about, TYF happens to be a social political group for Yorubas that was created to foster development in Yoruba land, to put our people, which are Yoruba people, that are available for in almost all the worlds, because for almost 1,500 years, Yoruba has lived in advanced urban kingdoms. We built a flourishing economy by farming, trading, and creating art. Our excellence and distinctive artistic traditions include wood carving, sculpting, headwork, and painting. We are a people that believes very much in getting together as a people and working together as a people. The vision of TYF is the preservation of the robust Yoruba identity and development of a formidable collective that caters to the well-being and fulfillment of the potential of every Yoruba son and daughter. And also by instilling Yoruba consciousness in our people, we create and maintain a decolonized Ile Yoruba as we leave a lasting legacy to our descendants after us. And our mission is tasked as Omoluabi to seek out the courage in the face of adversity against our nation and our people, the Yorubas, and imbibe the principles of our culture, values by promoting language, history, cultural studies, and political education. We are grateful to everybody and to all groups that works and are interested in Yoruba land's success and prosperity. We ask everybody to come join Think Yoruba First, so we can all be able to lift up the name and the legacy our forefathers left for us. Thank you very much. Arebola and your wife, you're here tonight and you are ready for us. We are very happy to welcome you tonight.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm just worried that the video is on a landscape, it's on a portrait, not a landscape format. I
Okay.
hope.
I'm trying to work on that now.
Okay.
I think this is the best that we can get, Are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Um. So I'm trying to also repost on my handle. Okay, are we good to go?
Yes, Are, please let's go ahead.
Okay, so thank you. Um,
And before I allow you to go, Are, I would like to recognize those who are with us tonight on our back room. We have Madam Ajoke Ade uh, and Mr. Jolomi, and also the other Madam Ajoke from Lagos. They are all working with us tonight as co-hosts. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Are.
okay, so can I have a single portrait because the three of us are still showing? Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. I greet us all in the name of Olodumare. I greet us all everywhere you're listening and watching. I want to beg us, for those of you watching tonight, kindly retweet, kindly share, and share this message to as many people as possible. Please, I want, if you're watching this live program, this live broadcast on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, kindly share it. If you're listening on the Twitter space or you're watching it live, kindly share it. Today's topic is a very important topic because we are discussing about a very powerful topic, which is without state policing, terrorism can never end within Nigeria. In Nigeria, I greet you all in the name of Oludumare once again. To all lovers of freedom, all lovers of history, all lovers of geopolitics, for those who want Nigeria to survive as a country, for those who want the Yoruba race to survive in this century and to continue to prosper in this millennium, you are welcome again to a powerful Yoruba Rono series. We are grateful to Almighty God for how far we've come. We are grateful to how far what we've achieved. I also want to greet all the engineers, all the producers, for pre-production, production, and the post-production within TYF, and for this program. People who work day and night to ensure that this program is available for all of us to watch. May Olodumare continue to bless you. Tonight is a very important topic. Firstly, we want to wish those who perished in Kwara State at Kayama local government in Kwara State. May their soul rest in peace. We pray for the people of Kwara during these trying times, that Almighty God will continue to protect them. Almighty God will continue to give them the strength. And as the Nigerian security forces, they are also humans that will be going into Kwara State in order to defend the people that were slaughtered, to defend the people that were displaced. We pray that God, in His infinite mercies, will empower them, will protect them, and defend them. We are here today to talk about a very important topic once again, and that topic is about the core of it is a core conversation that has bedeviled Nigeria for the past 15 to 16 years. People have been talking about terrorism, and there has been different talks and different theories and different hypotheses about the cause of terrorism in Nigeria, about the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria, and about the reason why we have terrorism in Nigeria. Terrorism in Nigeria, at least where Nigeria has officially been in a state of war, started since the year 2009 from the deadly sect called Boko Haram. And like I've said on many times and on different spaces, Nigeria is not just a country. It is a country of many nations. It's a country of many civilizations. I spoke about the Afro-Asiatic civilizations in time past. I spoke about the Judeo-Christian civilization in time past. I spoke about the Yoruba civilization, the Nok civilization. Within Nigeria, the Kwarafa kingdoms, the confederacies, the caliphates, the empires, the powerful city-states, all within Nigeria. This is the situation that has created a very, very dangerous diversity that we see within Nigeria. How can we have a country that is this diverse, not just ethnically, religiously? There are so many ethnic nations, so many countries on earth that are ethnically diverse. For instance, you look like countries like Switzerland. Switzerland is ethnically diverse because most indigenous people of Switzerland, maybe they are Germans, they are French, they are Romans, many of them are Christians. You look at countries like Syria. Syria is diverse. Syria has Arabs, it has Druids, the Druze, it has Kurdish people, it has the Assyria Christians. Now, even though all of them belong to different, even though all of them are Arab speaking, mostly Arab speaking, there's still a form of diversity, and most of them are Muslims. Most of them are Sunni Muslims in Syria, despite the diversity. But you look at a country like Nigeria. Nigeria is not just diverse when it comes to ethnicity. Nigeria is religiously diverse. So when you look at countries that have imploded in time past, like Yugoslavia, Yugoslavia was a Christian majority country, but it was ethnically diverse. It was tribally diverse. So Nigeria has 2 nuclear bombs. It has 2 gunpowders within it that is capable of burning down the entire West Africa if care is not taken. I watched and I listened. I saw the news about this American politician, Honorable House of Rep, Willie Moore, when he said if Nigeria breaks apart, the Islamist terrorists are going to seize the opportunity to wipe out Christians. He's right. The reason why majority of the Middle Belt Christians have not been wiped out in today's Nigeria is because of the Nigerian states. When you see a lot of people in the Middle Belt, minorities, Christian pockets in Kebbi, Christian minorities in Zamfara, Christian minorities in Southern Kaduna, Christian minorities in Borno, Christian minorities in Northern and Southern Adamawa, in Taraba, in Nasarawa. When you see these people that are very pro-Nigeria, they are pro-Nigeria because Nigeria is what is holding the gates of hell from being unleashed on them. We have to realize, I know a lot of our people were very emotional when they saw that news, and they said all sort of things like, oh, it is none of our business. But the reality is the carnage will be unbearable, because as it is now, it is only 2 groups in Nigeria that are heavily harmed and are capable of violence. The non-state actors, whether they are Boko Haram, whether they are Zaru, whether they are ISIS, whether they are Fulani bandits, whether they are cattle, anyhow you want it, they are the ones that are really harmed within Nigeria. And you have the Nigerian states, which includes the police, which includes the federal police, the federal immigration, the federal army, navy. Those are the people that the military and the paramilitary agencies of the government. So what am I saying in essence is, that Nigeria Nigeria is in a very fragile situation. And where I can give examples of where things like this has happened before. I can give examples of Syria. I can give examples of Iraq. I can give examples of Syria. I can give an example of Iraq. So you look at countries in Iraq. You look at countries, well, like, okay, for instance, in Iraq, there was an invasion, an American invasion that removed Saddam Hussein. It was that invasion that made Iraq to be very, very weak. So there was a protest, which they call Arab Spring, the Arab Revolution that happened across the Arab world. This destabilized a lot of Arab-speaking countries. What happened is created many, many ungoverned spaces, and non-state actors like the Islamic states in Syria and the Levant stood up, took that opportunity to be able to bring chaos and to implement their own version of the interpretation of Islamic jurisprudence and theocracy. So this was what happened. And what happened? Many minorities were wiped out. There are three major minorities in Syria, in Iraq: Yazidis, Assyria Christians, and Iraqi Kurdish people. Out of these three minorities, only the Iraqi Kurdish people were actually armed, were actually have the means of defending themselves. What happened to the Iraqi Christians and what happened to the Iraqi Yazidis? The Iraqi Yazidis were almost exterminated from the surface of the earth, and the Iraqi Christians were almost obliterated from Iraq and even Syria. And people that were already a minority became an almost infinitesimal minority within Iraq and Syria. That was what happened. The Yazidis were almost totally erased. Many of them were permanently sold into slavery as sex slaves. So many of them were killed. Many of them were butchered. Many of them were destroyed. What about the Christians? People that have been existing for more than 2,000 years in that space called Iraq. They were totally obliterated. These people survived different empires. They survived different invasions. They survived all sorts of things. They survived the Abbasid Caliphate. They survived the Roman Empire. They survived the Byzantine Empire. They survived the Ottoman Empire, but they did not survive ISIS because they did not have the means of defending themselves. But what about the Kurdish people? The Kurdish people, because of their continuous fight for autonomy, the Kurdish people have been fighting for autonomy in that area of Iraq for decades. And even Saddam Hussein wanted to exterminate them from the surface of the earth. And they were able, where chemical weapons and other weapons of mass destruction was used on the people of the Kurdish people of Iraq. But they survived. And after they survived, they were able to use international pressure and lobbying from the international community to have a form of self-autonomy within Iraq. And when they got this self-autonomy, they created that region within Iraq called the Kurdistan. It was Kurdistan that gave these people a form of balance. It was Kurdistan that gave these people a form of the ability to defend themselves. It was Kurdistan that they were able to create their own form of state policing. And that form of state policing was called Peshmerga. Without Peshmerga, which was the Kurdish policing system for protecting the people of Syria, the Kurdish people of Iraq, it would have almost been impossible to defeat the ISIS terrorists, to defeat terrorism in Iraq. It was Peshmerga that took the battles, and they were even able to protect the Kurdish minorities. So you look at Nigeria, you look at the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt of Nigeria is the most ethnically diverse place in Nigeria, one of the most ethnically diverse places in Sub-Saharan Africa. So many ethnicities that you've never even heard of. So many tribes. Within one local government, you're even going to see close to 10 to 20 tribes, ethnicities, speaking different languages, different kings. So it is Nigeria that is giving them a form of succor and support. Even though many of them survived the onslaught of Madam Fodio Jihad, but they've been tentatively disarmed, They've lost any form of the ability to defend themselves. So this particular example is why state police is extremely critical. This particular example is why state police is crucial. Without state policing in Iraq, the Scottish people of Iraq would have been wiped out. Without state policing in Iraq, the Kurdish people would have been totally exterminated. The world will only cry. They will only make documentaries about the people that were once Kurdish people on Al Jazeera. You will only be watching stories and you'll be saying, oh, sorry. And the world will move on. People right 10 years ago, 10 years ago, there used to be a people called the Yazidis. Where are the Yazidis again in Iraq? They have been almost obliterated and exterminated because the Yazidis did not have a means of defense of themselves. The Yazidis did not even stand a chance. They were exterminated. The Iraqi government could not save them. United Nations could not save them. America could not save them. Russia could not save them. Islamic Brotherhood did not save them. Arab Brotherhood did not save them. The same thing is going to happen in Nigeria if it happens. Christian Brotherhood will not save you. It is only you that can save yourself. This is why it is extremely critical for us to demand for state policing because of the situation of Nigeria. At least I've been able to start this prelude for us to understand Iraq and Syria, and using the example of the Peshmerga, on our Peshmerga, which was something like an Iraqi paramilitary, Kurdish paramilitary force, which was like a form of a state police, was able to protect the Kurdish people. As it is now, what are we going to use to protect the Tiv people in Benue? What are you going to use to protect the Biram people? The Baruba people did not have anything to protect them when the terrorists, the ISIS came, Boko Haram came and slaughtered them in Kwara State. 200 people butchered in a single day. 200 people killed in a single night. 200 people killed in just one onslaught. Let's not talk about Nigeria, because that is my country. What is happening in Nigeria is what we call a slow motion genocide. What is happening in Nigeria is a crime against humanity. You sit in Lagos, you are chilling in Port Harcourt, you are attending carnivals in Calabar, and you think everything is okay. Slow and steady, the terrorists are knocking. The day Kabul fell to Afghanistan, many people in Afghanistan were still saying it's a lie. 3 days before Kabul fell to the Taliban, the president of Afghanistan was still saying all is well, that Taliban is supporting democracy. America was still saying everything is okay. But we just saw breaking news flash, that Taliban fighters have already surrounded. They've already surrounded Kabul. And we saw the president of Afghanistan running away with stolen cash with his family to Dubai, leaving the people of Afghanistan into the hands of these medieval barbaric animals who say they are practicing Islam but are not practicing Islam. These are just bloodthirsty lunatics who believe in implementing their own sadistic definition of religion on helpless men and women in the 21st century. The same thing happened to the people of Kayama. Nobody was able to save them because they did not have a means of defense. Let me tell you something. 20 people with AK-47 are superior to 200,000 people with Bible and Quran in their hand. 20 people with AK-47 are going to control, well-trained, well-armed. They are going to control and enslave 200,000 people with Bible and Quran. Let me tell you the reality. Let's just even go back to history. Why was it easy for many ancient, powerful African kingdoms and empires to just be conquered by the European colonizers? Excuse me. How was it easy? The same thing happened in Asia. How the colonial European powers was able to colonize and overpower many of these ancient empires. How many British soldiers was able to conquer India? How many? Because they had superior weapons, they had firearms, while we were still using sword and cavalry in warfare in the age where there was industrial revolution already happening, already taking place in Europe. So we didn't stand a chance. We never stood a chance. So 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, we take AK-47, we take over a town, we take over a local government, and there will be a bloodbath. There will be destruction because the people did not have anything to defend themselves. The policing, it is very criminal for us to have a centralized security architecture in a very, very dangerously diverse country like Nigeria. When I started this conversation, I said Nigeria is not just technically diverse. Nigeria is religiously diverse. It is a dangerous combination. There is no country with a religious diversity like this on the surface of the earth. There is no country that is as diverse as Nigeria, because there's a difference between diversity in terms of ethnicity or race and diversity in terms of religion. Nigeria is diverse. In terms of even Islam, we have the Shia, we have exactly doing this thing in Kaduna. We have Ahmadiyya, we have Ansaru, we have we have the radical Izalas. Even within Christianity, we have the Orthodox and the non-Orthodox. We have the Pentecostals. These are the different diversity that we have within Nigeria. And yet, some people still insist that we should be using a centralized system because they know that we are politically docile. They know that we are politically inept to understand that this is a criminal system of government where the Nigerian policing system is centralized. All crimes are local. All crimes are local. The reason why there is no Islamist fanaticism and killings and destruction in the Southwest currently, despite the fact that we have a huge Muslim population, is that we don't have homegrown terrorists yet. The day we start having homegrown terrorists who are now emboldened to be carrying guns and ammunition is the day we start seeing bomb blasts in Lagos. Is the day we start seeing bomb blasts in Ibadan. God forbid. So there are always an element of locality. All crimes are localized because you are going to need the locals to be able to know the terrain. Without the Hausa peasants and locals, it is impossible for Uthman Dan Fodio jihad to be successful. It was the Hausa locals and locals that gave the Fulani jihadists how to be able to destroy and kill their leaders. It is also true that the reports has been coming out that there were informants who were in Woro village in Kayama local government that gave information to the terrorists, to the Islamic fundamentalists, I was not the one, I'm not the one saying Islamic fundamentalists. This was what the governor of Kwara State said, that Islamic fundamentalists were the ones that carried out the killings in Kayama local government. And they had local informants. I've seen a lot of people calling out the Kwara State government. I did not do that. And why didn't I do that? I did not do that because the Kwara State government can do nothing. How can you call somebody a governor without him having a state police? The Nigerian structure is making all of us become a sitting duck. Desperate times needs desperate measures. Something is happening in Nigeria. According to the 2006 consensus, the last census Nigeria had, there were more people living in villages than people living in towns and cities. So Nigeria, majority of the Nigerian population were largely rural population and largely agrarian population. But according to the security report, according to things that are currently happening, reports and findings, many villages, thousands and thousands of villages in the northwest, in the northeast, and in the middle belt has been deserted. So many villages are no-go area anymore. People that has been occupied. You go to Zamfara, you go to Katsina, many people are pouring into cities to survive. So cities, the rural areas have become no-go areas. Nigeria now has some government territories that if you want to live in those places, you need to be able to pay taxes to non-state actors. It has gotten so bad that state governments have now become weak. State governments in the northwest and in the northeast are now negotiating with terrorists. They are now even negotiating with terrorists. The terrorists have now been accepted as part and parcel of the society. There is no solution to this. We see our government is trying to put the message across and say, oh, they are killing this, they are killing that. I hope it is never too late before the government understands that the state police needs to happen as soon as possible. For Nigeria to survive, there needs to be some kind of political solution, political will for Nigeria to survive. If Nigeria does not have the political will, Nigeria will not be able to survive. If Nigeria does not, Nigerian politicians are not ready to damn the consequences and properly understand that there's fire on the mountain, Nigeria is not going to survive. Madness is doing the same thing all over and over again and expecting different results. It's never going to happen because the people do not have the ability to defend themselves. What is even dangerous is for us to now descend into a state where people are now arming themselves, people are creating vigilantes, people are now arming themselves, and they are now carrying out reprisal attacks. That was what happened in Mali and made the situation got out of hand because different militias, like the Dogon militias, who are also Muslims, how to take up arms to be fighting Fulani militias, who are also Muslims that were killing them in northern Mali, in north central Mali. But you have to understand this. Nigeria is drifting towards that situation. Slowly, slow and steady. But when our politicians are talking about defection, our politicians are talking about economy. How can you build prosperity within security? How? I know there is a political side of this, that there is a region that is notorious, that weaponizes bloodbath, that weaponizes insecurity in order to be able to negotiate for power at the center. They did it for Jonathan. But the reality is this: the monsters they create is killing all of us. The monsters they create is swallowing all of us. Which is why Chief Obafemi Awolowo was extremely right that without Nigeria practicing ethno-linguistic federalism, Nigeria was surely going to descend into this state of chaos. Baba Awolowo warned us 60 years ago. We didn't listen. We listened to idealists who never wanted to see reality. We listen to people who will create problems and run away. Now the bloodbath is happening. If it was a good country, all the flags in Nigeria should supposed to be flown at half-mast. How can 200 people of your people be slaughtered by terrorists? These terrorists still came and said that people should follow their own version of Sharia. Now let's now go into the issue of Sharia. There's no difference between those of you that are advocating for Sharia in Ekiti, in Ondo, in Oyo State, in Ibadan, in Lagos. There's no difference. And those people that are killing people in Kayama that are trying to force Sharia on them. The people in Kayama the terrorists in Kayama are using guns, while you are afraid. Because you know that if you try to use violence, you will be poached and you will be crushed. What are you doing? You are sitting on social media and you are trying to start a revolution by trying to push using the political means. It is the same. It is the same. It is the same. That is the tactics of the Islamic Brotherhood that is being banned all over the world. That is why you saw the United Arab Emirates banned and proscribed the Islamic Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. Egypt, an Arab and a Muslim country, did the same. Because what are they doing there? The Islamic Brotherhood organization believes in using the political means as a means of taking over countries to implement their own version and ideology of Islam. So it is the same ideology. Some are using the violent means, some are using the diplomatic and political means. And politics is war without bloodshed. Those using guns and those using politics, it is the same tool of turning and destroying the status quo. We must understand that. This is not an aid for any religion. It is for us to be able to survive. The over 200 people that were slaughtered in Kayama were Muslims. The over 200 people that were killed in Wara village were Muslims, they were not Christians. They were not Isheshe. So you need to understand what we are saying. When you see many Muslims shouting on top of our voices that we do not want this, their version of Islam from the corner into Yoruba land, we know what we are saying. Because even the moderates will not be spared. In fact, they will wipe out the moderates before even killing the Christians and the traditional worshippers. And the reality is, if the security architecture is overwhelmed, our political leaders will not look back before running away. We can only shout on social media. Look at what they did. Look at what the Islamic fundamentalists did to those people that were protesting in Iran. They killed over 20,000 people. Over 20,000 people were crushed in order to be able to crush that revolution and movement. That is what happened. That was what happened. That was what they did too in Sudan. When there was a protest in Sudan, what did the RSF and the Sudanese army did? That is why I don't give a damn about the RSF and the Sudanese army, because they are the same. They are all genociders. They all came together to genocide the people of Darfur. They all came together to kill thousands and thousands of protesters. So this is the reality. And we have to understand the psyche of the people we call our fellow countrymen. You look at what is happening. You see that all of a sudden we are hearing an organization like Sharia Council. How can you talk about having the Sharia Council of Nigeria in a supposedly secular country? What exactly? It is treacherous. It is the highest level of treason to be pushing such an organization in a supposedly secular country. But because, I am sorry to say this, I don't want to sound condescending, the people in the southern part of Nigeria and the people in the middle belt of Nigeria don't understand what democracy or the system of government they are practicing. They don't understand. This is the bitter truth. We are just illiterate, we are not educated. We can read and write, but understanding politics, understanding what we are doing, we don't understand. The connotes that we see as radicals are practicing geopolitics. That is why they are emboldened. That is why they are brazen. That is why they do not care if 1,000 people were killed in Kwara State. What they care most is that they must chase away the INEC chairman because they believe that that particular institution is their birthright. They believe after having a Muslim ticket, They still want to impose their will through threats, through all sorts of things in order to get their way. And they've been doing this since the beginning of Nigeria. That was what they were doing in negotiation of Nigeria. And they were able to bully their way and get their way. That is why we must make a stand, which is why you cannot be politically correct not to have a form of defense if everything collapses within Nigeria. So without state policing, you can never be able to defeat terrorism in Nigeria. All those 5 trillion, 10 trillion that Nigeria is budgeting every year that should have been used to build roads, build schools, hospitals, to be able to build our infrastructures, to be even we can just take those billions of dollars and put in our sovereign, put it in our sovereign national wealth fund. It could have been wonderful. But what are we using it to do? Money we're supposed to use to buy books, we are using it to buy bullets. And we think we have a country, we think we have a future. And where is this money coming from? The money is not coming from Sokoto, the money is not coming from Borno, the money is coming from the south to be able to fight terrorists in the north. What exactly is this gain of 1914 amalgamation? What exactly is the 1914 amalgamation not a cause? We need to be able to talk sense into ourselves. Is this sustainable? America ran away from Iraq, from Afghanistan, because it was not economically viable to continue the war. America ran away from Iraq because it was not economically viable to continue to fight the war. Some people want Nigeria to be in this state of chaos because the reason why they don't want state police is to make it easy to capture Nigeria intact. Nigeria is the greatest gift for them. Fulanization is not a myth. Full-blown Islamization is not a myth. It is true. Some people believe in this ideology. That is why you need to be afraid when you see people like Pantami in politics. Don't you understand that we now have extremists in Yoruba land? When Nnamdi Kanu was jailed, we saw what happened in Yoruba land, especially in the Yoruba part of Twitter. We saw Islamists that had Yoruba names shouting that Sunday Igboho should be jailed too. Sunday Igboho should be jailed too. But we thank Almighty God. We thank the Almighty who owns the power and life and death, that these wretched souls do not have political power. These people do not have the political means. These people do not have the political wherewithal in order to be able to change the politics of Yoruba land. If not, we would have been in trouble. The question you have to ask yourself, Sunday Igboho was saying, now let's talk about Kayama local government and where this killing took place in Woro village. This place is so close, it's very, very close to Kishi. Many people don't know how close Oyo State is into the Bariba country. It is so close. So from Woro village to Yoruba villages, just across that axis is so close. Those are part and parcel of the Yoruba sphere of influence. So don't think this is not happening to you. And this was exactly the same place where Sunday Igboho raised the alarm that there was killings, displacement happening in that place. What did the government do? They did not go after the killers. They were saying that the people that were shouting are unpatriotic. And we saw people in the name of politics. We have some Yoruba people that are not loyal to the Yoruba race. They are loyal to political party and their bank accounts. And they are loyal to religion. They don't even mind becoming a slave in the name of religion. And they are the ones that are always doing APC standship, which is why it is dangerous. It is very, very dangerous for you to be a Yoruba man and somebody is telling you why should you participate in politics. Without you participating in politics, you are actually digging your grave. Without you participating in politics, you are actually seeking your own personal destruction. So if you don't participate in politics, these Islamists in our midst are going to get power and they are going to destroy all of us. And Islamists are very ruthless. They are liars. They know how to play the victims. They are ruthless. They are corrupt, they are brazen, and they are cold-blooded. They can kill in order to be able to achieve their aim. There is no tool. Democracy, the sword, the guns, the bullets, argument, intellectualism, and the ability to turn facts upside down in order to push their agenda. This is what we are facing. The problem of Nigeria is not IPOP, it's not Niger Delta militants, it's not Yoruba Nation agitator. It is the Islamic terrorists. It is not secessionists. It is not all these tribalists that are destroying Mali. It is not tribalists. It is not corrupt people that are destroying Burkina Faso. Same thing in Sudan. Same thing in Somalia. It is the Islamic fundamentalists and terrorists. There's a problem in the world that we need to face. And even moderate Muslims are not safe. So this issue requires a multifaceted approach that we need to be on our toes. We need to be able to face this. But that is why some of us say, look, the Sultan of Sokoto cannot speak for us. This is somebody that the whole Northwest is like a war zone. That place is a war zone. It has become a place where Islamic fundamentalists, that is the place where Deborah was lynched. That is where they lynch minorities, religious minorities. That is where ethnic minorities are subjugated. How are the Christians in Niger State, in Southern Kaduna treated? How? What exactly are the Christians in Southern Kebbi treated? What are they doing there? We see what is happening. The kind of Islamic, is the kind of extremism and intolerance that you see in the Northwest, in the core north of Nigeria, is almost equal to what you see, if not even worse than what you see in Somalia and Afghanistan. What is keeping Nigeria afloat? It is because the political elite in the core north, who are also, many of them also subscribe to this political Islamic ideology. Many of them, this because of the oil wealth and the economic benefits they are getting from the south. The reason why Nigeria still exists, it is because there is huge resources. There is billions of dollars that we can continue to use to fight the war on terror. America that prints the American dollar could not continue to fight the war on terror in Afghanistan because it was not sustainable. So how do you think you are going to win the war on terror? How do you think you are going to win the war on terror? Now we're not no longer saying they are bandits, we are calling them terrorists. People are calling them the way it is. You think it's a joke that Middle Belt Christians were able to lobby America because they are helpless. They are helpless. Even though I don't want to blame the victims, because they become docile. Do you think it's possible for you to be killing white people and white people are still going to be shouting without them standing up to be able to defend themselves? We are calling for state policing because we don't want the people, we don't want the oppressed to be able to stand up and start harming themselves and start fighting against the Nigerian state. This is exactly what we are fighting for. And it is impossible. Now, let me also give you another reason why state policing is very important and is the key. The civilian JTF has been so crucial in the war and fight against Boko Haram and ISIS in Borno, in Yobe, and in Adamawa. Without the civilian JTF, it would have been almost impossible for the Nigerian military to record any success in Sambisa and all those places. Where the Nigerian government army could not go, it is where the civilian JTF can go. So why not have a local policing system where the people, you think, why do you think somebody from Enugu will be ready to die and spill his blood to defend Ibadan? But an Ibadan indigene will be ready to die and defend Ibadan because he's a local. He's a local. There is no multi-ethnic, multi-ethnic federal country on the surface of the earth that is truly multi-ethnic, multi-religious, that does not have state police. India has it. Switzerland has it. So why is Nigeria a difference? Germany has it, where they have state police. America has it, where they have state police. What exactly are we afraid of? Why are we still afraid of doing the right thing after almost 70 years of independence? We have sincerely mismanaged our diversity. This country has been mismanaged. We can blame the obedient for their narcissism and their toxicity. Even though they are not different, they're just looking for opportunity to grab power. But it will be unfair for us, those of us that call ourselves Aoists, that call ourselves progressives, that those of us that call ourselves intellectuals, for us not to be able to call Ashiwaju and say, Ashiwaju, this is the time for state policing. This is a time for true federalism. But this is the only solution, is a low-hanging fruit. If you cannot defend us, if you cannot protect us, why not give us the option to be able to fight like men and defend ourselves? We cannot continue this way. Today they are kidnapping in church, Christians in one church, they are kidnapping children in schools, left, right, and center, even though we say we are not paying ransom. But all of a sudden we see the people being released, and we are trying to save face. This is not sustainable. This is not sustainable. We have monsters in this country, and they are part and parcel of us. And this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop because we just want to sweep things under the carpet. This Nigerian unity, this one Nigeria, needs to be questioned aggressively, because it is because we do not question it. It's why some people believe they can use terrorism as a means of political leverage. They can use political Islamism as a tool of power negotiation, and which is why you are going to see Islamists. If you see a political Islamist, they also have these characteristics. They hate anything like true federalism. They are not stupid people, because they want to capture Nigeria as a whole. That's how they are thinking. This is what they're not going to tell you. And they are always there to say, they are always trying to, and they are also in politics. And this is why we must be on our toes. It is better we stop these people in their track, and we have a means of defending ourselves. The question is, do we want to be like the Yazidis of Iraq, or we want to be like the Kurdish people of Iraq? The Kurdish people have their own state police. They have the Peshmerga that they use to be able to fight and defeat ISIS terrorists. The Yazidis, they had nothing. They were not just slaughtered. They were sold into their women were sold as sex slaves. Choose one. The choice is ours. Without state policing, Nigeria has no future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, Are, thank you very much. It's beautiful to hear from you once again after about a week or two that we had the Afenifere elders join us on the space. Um, we've all listened and heard from Are. If we have anybody who wants to make a contribution or have any question to ask, please come up to the speaker session. I see Aderoju requesting. Okay. Um, okay. Yes. Okay, Mr. and Miss Aderoju, you are free to ask your question, please. Go ahead. Aderoju, can you hear me? Unmute yourself.
Aderoju, are you there?
We can hear you. Okay, Mr. Olua, Mr. Oluwatobi is here. Let me bring him up to speak to us. Add him as a speaker. Yeah, Mr. Oluwatobi, you can mute yourself.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Oluwatobi. Ekaleo.
Yes, sir. Ekale, sir. Ekale, everybody. Good evening to everybody. Well, I just want to ask this question because someone was saying something some days ago. I think some weeks ago, rather. The person was actually talking about politics, like people should join politics. The person near me was like saying that we are not interested. Nigeria too bad. And based on what Arena mentioned tonight, that it is a suicidal mission for our people not to rise up and go into politics. Because if these people grab power, God forbid, we are all doomed. So I'm thinking, how can we propagate this means? Because 2027 will determine a lot of things to our lives, whether Yoruba will consist to exist or not, with what is happening. Because Yoruba sọ pé ikú tó ń pa ojúgbà ilé ìwé ló ń pa fún mi. A lot of people have said Kwara ò jìnnà sí àwọn ibi gbogbo mọ̀ṣẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn ìlú tó súnmọ́ wa yìí. And we are one thing Yorubas are, we are docile. I won't say we are weak, but we are docile. Tí nǹkan bá ti gun wa ní kẹ́sẹ́ débi eyín egungun, àwọn tí ìlà máa ń rò pé bóyá eré ni. Àwọn people tá dẹ̀ ń rò pé tá dẹ̀ ń bá tá ń wò yìí, wọn ò bá wa ṣe é wọn mú ní kékeré yàtọ̀. How can people go to a village and slaughter almost 200 and something people? And everybody kept quiet as if nothing is happening. And then made mention of something. He said we have normalized terror in Nigeria. And that's the truth. So I don't know. How can we propagate this? Because when I made mention of something too. He said we need to look at Baba Tinubu's face and tell him that, okay, please help us on this issue, or else we are all going. Because everybody playing politics, Clinic 2027, yeah, Clinic. Call on Jeka to marry 2027 in Lagos alone. Because we can't continue to look at ourselves and our people are being slaughtered like ram. You don't know about Tony Joye. Thank you.
Esheun, thank you very much, Are.
Thank you very, very much, sir. That was on point. God will continue to be with you and God will continue to fortify you. If you are here, if you are still watching, please help us to share this live stream. This is the kind of program, this kind of intellectual conversation that every Yoruba man and woman must be able to listen to. Now, what you said is true, sir. What you said is actually and very, very true. And what you said is exactly what many of us are saying. You know, a lot of our people, Yoruba people have a big problem. And the problem is a challenge. There is no proper political education of what politics is and the importance of politics in Yoruba land. Many of because our civilization is monarchical. So Yoruba people even have respect for their obas than their politicians. Meanwhile, it is the politicians that controls their obaship. It is the politicians don't even have respect for their obas. So we don't even know that the new emperors in Yoruba land are the politicians. That's why you're going to see somebody that is just an APC carry member. Kò tí di councillor, ó dẹ̀ ṣì ń try láti di councillor ni, bá ṣe wà so arrogant ni. You see the way they behave, classists. Some of them, if you are not even careful, you are going to think that some of them are even superior to many people in Yoruba nationalism. You see the way they talk, you see their arrogance, you see how daft they are. I'm sorry, I'm using this word. Because they believe that they are the future power holders. Don't you want to suffer in church pé tẹ́ bá ti lọ ṣe politics and loyal fire. I have never seen any kind of diabolical doctrine like that before. They've even told our young women that marrying politicians are bad. If you marry a politician, it's not good. How can you say that? How can we love power yet we are the victims of those in power? If you do not participate in politics, then be ready to be ruled by the worst of you. Be ready to be destroyed by the worst of you. The reality is this. We are sitting ducks. There have been a Yoruba Oba was kidnapped for more than a month. Once she released Eni, after 32 million naira was paid. If you don't understand that if it was 100, 200 years ago, many of these people that were being kidnapped, many of them were sold into slavery. People don't understand. I'm going to give you two instances of two notable Yoruba men that were kidnapped by Fulani raiders. The first one was Bishop Ajayi Crowther. Bishop Ajayi Crowther was kidnapped by Fulani raiders. It is not today that people of Fulani extraction, and we are not trying to blackmail all ethnicity, but this is what they do. They are raiders. This is the ideology of the deserts. This is the ideology of the Bedouins, Arabs. They raid. This is the ideology of the Tuaregs. I'm also going to give another example. The leader of the Yoruba people in the northern region of the First Republic, Pa JP Olawoyin, his forefather was captured by Fulanis and sold into slavery. He was just fortunate. Slavery was ended and he was able to relocate. Was able to locate his ancestral homeland in Ofa. That was why Paola Woyi was a radical Yoruba nationalist, because he understood what the Sokoto feudal system and structure means. It is not, we understand that some of our people are mentally damaged due to religion. We will face them toe to toe because we have the core of the Yoruba nation, of the Yoruba race with us. Tinubu will go, but what will remain is the Yoruba race. Look, we are in the battleground, we are in the battle zone. We are for Tinubu in 2027, 2031. But we must be prepared to make the final stand. And we shall win, and we will win. We understand that we have the Igbo problem. We are also looking for an expansionism. We are trying to drop their population all across Nigeria in the name of patriotism. We know we have that problem. And because of their own short-sightedness, they did not give us the opportunity to be able to fight this war. Because if we had that state police, regional system was intact, the question of Nigeria would have been sorted a long time ago. And we're a secular country or a theocratic country. We would have been able to solve this problem. But because we've not been able to solve this problem, is why we continue to have this recurring issue. Your money is not going to save you, but what is going to happen? We are facing a people that have destroyed greater civilizations than us. We are fighting a people who destroyed the Kushite kingdoms, who destroyed the Byzantine Empire, who destroyed great civilizations that are even superior to yours. So don't think who subjugated the Hindu civilization for more than 500 years. So, and nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Because we are fighting a people, they are battle tested. They understand how to erase and destroy civilization. Their own definition of Nigeria is not good road. That's why it is madness for your political elites to be telling you that they are building railway, good road, and all these things without self-preservation. Self-preservation, state policy is part of self-preservation. This is not the time. But in Nigerian politics, no conscience be one. Mentorship me. Which is why an institution like TYF, it is not just for us to talk, it's for mentorship. And a lot of our youth needs to stop this arrogance. You need a mentor. You need mentorship in Yoruba nationalism. You cannot sit down, listen to one or two of our lectures. The next thing, ultimate nationalism done here. One until I'm not trying to abuse anybody. Everybody can do what they like. But you need mentorship to be able to navigate this way. Because Islamism, you want to call not, with billions and billions of dollars support from America, from the Gulf countries. Yorubanism, low, but it's very funding for who let survive. When you half of your political leaders and your political elites don't even know their left from their right, your celebrities don't even know that if someone like Pantawe can become their president tomorrow and he will make a law that can eradicate Afrobeat, nothing will happen. All the female professors in Afghanistan, they've been chased out. What's the law fear? What's the level from school? Go and look at Afghanistan 60 years ago. Go to Lebanon. Go and look at Lebanon 40, 50 years ago. How beautiful it is. How wonderful it is. Many of these people, they've been chased out of Lebanon. And Lebanon did not fall. You're a black man. Nobody cares about your tears. Don't think the world is going to give a damn about you the way they are giving a damn about Palestine. The reason why people are shouting about Palestine is because the victims are white people. If the Palestinians are blacks, nobody's going to give a damn about it. You need to understand your place in the world. You need to understand. That is why nobody talks about the great African war that took place in East and Central Africa in 2005 to around 2010, 2009, where more than 8 million people were killed. It 20 years, 15 years. But they don't even talk about it as one of the most bloodiest war in the world. They don't even make movies about it. You know why? Because it's the black people. How many times have you seen? Did you see any outrage about the killing of 200 people? Let there be one terror attack in London, or be in Paris. You'll be saying, "Oh, Josie Charlie, oh!" If you'll be seeing them running after scatter. 200 people wiped out. Nothing happened. What did you see the political Islam is talking about? Stop disrespecting the Sultan. This is what they think about. These people are diabolical. They are diabolical. To them, it's all about power. It's all about control. It's all about hegemony. You know, God be with you.
Thank you very much, Eshegoni. Please, if you are joining us tonight for the first time, TYF, that is Think Yoruba First, is a social, cultural, and social democratic organization that's organized exclusively for the development and the promotion of the Yoruba in the realm of education, science, culture, arts, and finance and self-preservation. And this organization, we are driven by the principles of Awoism, one of our forefathers in Yoruba land, and Yorubanism that is deeply rooted in the progressiveness and conservation of the Yoruba, as exemplified by the late sage, Chief Bafemi Awolowo. May his soul continue to rest in peace. If you are desired or desirous in joining us in TYF, please, on our website, thinkyobafirst.org, you can see opportunities there or how you can come in. The organization has a pack that will be that's working on a lot of projects to make sure Yoruba land is protected and is enriched. And we thank you very much again, Are. Somebody's asking a question here because he said, I think let me see where is that question again, so I can put it on the screen for you. Okay, that's the question there. Can you see that, Are? Can you see that? I thought the president, that's the President Tinubu, has approved state police. What is stopping them? Maybe the National Assembly now in quote, to implement it fast. How do we push the National Assembly, or we just find back door?
Thank you very much. The first thing is we need to be on the neck of our political leaders, because it is voxi populi, voxi Dei. Our political leaders, they've become, I don't want to say docile, and they become docile, and they are no longer doing anything to be able to push for state police. President Tinubu supports state police. What about your political leaders? You need your House of Assembly, you need your House of Reps, you need your senators. But there's a problem in Nigeria because the kind of political leaders we have, they are not driven by the goodness of the people. They are driven by what they will get. It's a bit by politics. Many of them now are concerned with how they are going to get a return ticket, how they are going to get contracts. So this is where people need to practice the right democracy. Now you've gotten there. It is now left for us to put pressure on our political leaders to do the needful. When we were raising alarm, TYF was one of the was the foremost organization. When we were raising alarm about Miyetti Allah members and their culpability in the killings and destruction that was taking place in Kwara State, many people did not pay attention to us. So I beg us in the name of Oludumare, the job is not ours to do. The ball is in our court, and we need to do it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Are. Thank you very much. Mr. Badmos KB, that's from YouTube. Thank you very much for that question. And we have a prince of both kingdoms, Mr. Yeah, he said state police or nothing. Thank you very much for your comment. He's from X handle. Now we have Shani on the question line now. Yeah, Shani, please go ahead.
Mama, please give me 2 minutes.
Oh, can Shana go, or you want to talk before Shana goes? Okay, Mr. Shani, please hold on. The co-host want to make a comment. Yeah, go on, Madam Ajokade.
I don't think I'm audible from the room. And it's echoing.
You are echoing. Let me see if I will. What about now? Can you? You are still echoing.
Maybe you muted me. Okay, now it's fine.
Okay.
I think I'm audible now. Okay.
All right. So after you, Mr. Shino will go. Yeah, after you, Mr. Shino will go, and then followed by Google.
Yeah. Káàbọ̀ gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan, ẹ ṣé gan.
Am I still audible?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay, then from not in the room. All right, no problem. Like I said, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àti wà dósà ọ̀gan. Àti wà dósà, I think gbogbo wa and sùn. A lot of us, we are sleeping. Ó ń bọ̀. Wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ládẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ adẹ̀wò akànṣá a máa pariwo tó bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀. I mean, before the 200 people tó pa nísìn, it happened. Bàbá ńlá ní gbogbo ìfẹ́ ló dùn gbogbo àbí tó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Kí ló fi bẹ́ẹ̀ yàtọ̀? This thing are happening. A máa pariwo, àdákẹ́. Àwọn political leaders wọn wá àwọn yẹn náà ṣe nǹkan tó fẹ́. But I was wanting tí mo fẹ́ pay attention wá sí. I think it's time we actually start shouting on top of our voice. Káwọn political leader wa kàn gbọ́. Àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe ọ̀kadà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣàrò pé bóyá ìtorí economy náà ṣe wá ni. Àwọn èèyàn yìí dey know loops and corners gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Is it not time? Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ band ọ̀kadà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni everywhere nílẹ̀ Yorùbá because àwọn wo náà ń ṣe ọ̀kadà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Ọmọ Yorùbá mélòó ló ń ṣọ̀kadà nílẹ̀ wa? èèyàn yìí agbódegbà ni wọn. It's time.
I don't know. I think your transition between the X and the back room is giving you a problem.
I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
But X.
Yeah, I'm going. Are you going right?
X.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay. Mo fi pé it's time. Ká check àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe ọ̀kadà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn èèyàn yìí, they were meant to know they were there láti mọ gbogbo corner àbí tá à ń gbé. That is where they are there. Wọ́n dédé wà nílùú wa, wà níbẹ̀ yẹn fún pé bóyá economy tá bá wò ó. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò níbo náà ń sùn, níbo náà forí kọ́ sí, because we know these are not people tó yẹ kí bóyá wọ́n rent ilé lọ́dọ̀ wa àbí they are registered somewhere or we know them. So we really have to. I need láti pariwo. These are part of Bashele fighting gbogbo nǹkan tó lẹ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá lélẹ̀. Àwọn spy, àwọn tó ń wà kadà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, they are spy. Mo use mic me.
Oh, okay.
The communication issue I'm having.
Yes.
Mr. Shine, go ahead.
All right, she go, Madam Ajokade. Host Mokinyo, Are Mokin from Jedo Penshi. About to go on Mokin, a castle out of the Jerry got on very busy. Last day, no got to the at once of police, state police. Emi o mi o fi taratara like idea yẹn because mo fi pé things can be abused. But now kó tá a rí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí, wọ́n mú wò pé téèyàn bá bẹ̀rù wípé àwọn olóṣèlú máa abuse state police. Tàdé tó wo benefit tó máa fún wa, tàdé wo kó tàbá ni nǹkan tó máa wà fún wa. Mo gbé ìṣòro sí kẹ́lẹ́ lọ́ra mi mo pé òkè. Ó dàbí pé ó bẹ́tà ká state police ju gbogbo yọkàn rí tààrí yìí lọ. Because police actually lọ state police ilé private citizen that's not bad. So I think I'm more open to the idea of state policing now. But even go to president, there's a time the president said, I think it's time for state policing. But I'm working in so one key àgbàdo tó dé kí ni kan náà di ẹ̀jẹ̀ so kí lè fi pé a lè ṣe I mean with the current situation kí ni a lè ṣe even bend the time of marginalize the role of state policing and some people are put pressure on the role for the state policing. Are there any other ideas that we can use to stop all this menace going on in Yoruba land?
Yes, ẹ ṣé ẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ kújọ́ mẹ́ta o, ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ sà. Ìta lè ṣe òun ni pé there can be a kind of a waiver wípé kí wọ́n àmú Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. So there is nothing they cannot do within the Nigerian system if there is the political will in order to save the lives of our people. Ṣé rí pẹ̀lú tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn tó bá pé ìlú tí wọ́n ti ní political education ni, ó yẹ kẹ́ ti máa gbọ́ kó yẹ kí conversation state police kó ti padà ká ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbọ́. Ẹ̀rọ àwọn tó pa èèyàn 200 people, wọ́n ṣe tán, no single arrest, wọ́n dẹ̀ tún disappear. And they will still come back again, they will do it and they will do it and they will do it. That might be not Timofesoy. Nigeria might be the next Mali or Burkina Faso with the way we are going. There are so much ungoverned territories, Nigeria, where people, terrorists can hide, can fight, can regroup for as long as possible. And something is also dangerous. It is dangerous for us to be using the Nigerian military for internal security. If anybody thinks that there won't be coup d'etat, if you continue to use the Nigerian military for internal security. Wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Sudan nìyẹn. The Sudan government was using military for internal security to be crushing rebellion left, right, and center. In Mali, in Burkina Faso, they were using the military for internal security. Terrorism. Many of these terrorists are homegrown terrorists. Many of them were radicalized in universities. Many of them were radicalized in their homes. What we should, apart from the kinetic measure, we are in Nigeria to find a way. How are we going to monitor the kind of Islamic teachings? The kind of teachings that are being preached in our mosques? How do we regulate religion? Because the failure to regulate religion only for terrorism. And because for every terrorist you kill, the another 20 is being produced every minute in different madrasas. That was why it was impossible for America to defeat the Taliban. Because you cannot defeat an ideology, an insidious ideology, political Islamism that has become deeply rooted with guns and ammunition. The only solution is, how do we, Yoruba man, the president in Nigeria is from the southwest. Okay, how do we have a uniform, a regional? How do we ensure that the Amotekun are trained? Because we don't, the Yoruba man is the current Inspector General of Police. So we need to first leave politics aside and sentiments. Buhari could not solve the problem of terrorism in Katsina. Buhari is a Fulani nationalist. We know how much he loved Daura, the kind of federal project, the Bilasi Daura. He literally turned Daura into a mini London. But Buhari could not stop terrorism and killings in Katsina. This is somebody that controls the entire military architecture and security architecture of Nigeria. Kò lè solve where. Àwọn terrorists yẹn ṣì ń control many local government in Katsina. So anybody that thinks if they hijack power, things are going to change, it's a lie. Buhari was in government for 8 years. You could not eradicate Boko Haram. You could not eradicate ISIS. You could not eradicate Fulani militias and terrorists. He couldn't do anything. So if anybody is telling you and still giving you hope, the best thing is we should be prepared and be ready to be able to use kinetic measures to be able to crush these people. It is because we are not following what is happening in Mali and Burkina Faso. Wàhálà ti dé. 200 people that they are still testing ground. One of the issues that ISIS, Al Qaeda, and all these Ansar terrorist organizations have currently, and this was one of the lessons they want to learn in the Middle East I'm talking now security and something advanced and deep, is that they do not have the manpower and the know-how to be able to seize territory and govern it and hold it down. Mistake tí ISIS ṣe nìyẹn ní Syria àti ní Iraq. Mistake tí Al-Qaeda ṣe nìyẹn ìgbà tí wọ́n kọ́ take over Mali, not take over Timbuktu, Gao. They were taking and seizing territories, and they were trying to govern the territories. But you cannot use 10,000 men, soldiers, to govern those huge territories. So they lost. So what they are doing, but they have the capacity to wreck any country. They have the capacity. They have trained their men to be able to wreck any country. It's an asymmetrical warfare. That was what Al-Qaeda did in Syria. If you take over government in Syria, they bled Syria till Syria died, till Syria capitulated. But I'm sorry, people that are rejoicing, American government, America to one Nigeria and there will not be a convergence of jihadists coming into Nigeria because they want to confront America. We're in trouble. Don't you see the way they talk on social media? They never condemn the killings, but they are more concerned with power. Young and old. I gave you a good signal. There was a particular clique of some people on social media that were saying, oh, Sunday Igboho too must be jailed. Why are they saying that? They are not saying it because they are patriotic. They are saying it because they want Yoruba land defenseless. Any form of hard power. And then so they can say Igbo, we're a peaceful region. You are not a threat to them. TYF is a threat to them. TYF that refuses the nonsense called the Sokoto hegemony. How can the Sultan of Sokoto be the Sultan of Nigeria? The person that controls your spirituality controls you, your soul and body. You don't need to control people. Just give an empire the ability to control their spirituality, and they will subjugate the people. So TYF is a problem, and TYF will continue to be a bone in their throat. Because God has fashioned us for this particular purpose, and God will give us victory. But victory comes from Him.
Thank you, Ari.
So, Mr. Shino,
I think
as the state police, we must find a way to harm Amotekun. It is stupidity to convince radicalized people to stop their bloodthirstiness, to believe that they can, one way or the other, turn Nigeria to a Fulani country, to an Islamic empire. When they say a Sultan of Sokoto is the spiritual leader of Islam all over Nigeria, they are talking about, they think the whole of Nigeria is a caliphate. It is extending the power and the hegemony of the caliphate on the whole of Nigeria. This is madness. And they've been able to empower. You see them. One for any position, one for lower. That's why I don't argue with them. They can continue saying the shit they want to say. But in Yoruba land, that our forefathers died for and spilled their blood for in 1940. If need be, we will go back there and still defend it.
Shino, question
only follow-up question, not like follow-up question, but maybe suggestion direct. Sherry, nǹkan tẹ́ sọ yìí, mo rí pé ó make sense actually. And mo dẹ̀ mo fẹ́ tó couple ẹ̀ mọ́ nǹkan tí co-host Madam Ajokeade tó sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Sherry pé mo fi pé lóòótọ́ ọmọ sọ dáadáa pé Yorùbá wà tó sáà pé Yorùbá àti máa ń kó ikọ̀ mọ́ra jù tó máa pa á lára. And I think that's been a problem from the dawn of time, because we just allow people to come in, African mass assimilate, then you see them scheming and stuff like that. But then at some point, because we are in this contract as in Nigeria, it will be difficult to say to say that, oh, we don't want these people here because of what we have as Nigeria. But then when it comes to all these trade, if those trades can be well regulated by transport workers, anybody just make sure that they are registered. We want to know that and then people need to be on that farm and say that I want to go on to be looked up and to make sure we can I want to look on Rapalas and bridge. But then, lórí tọrọ Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn yẹn ló fẹ́ sọ. No, ẹ mọ wàhálà tí Akéètì ṣe kó tó pé wọ́n lè aláwọ̀ Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn. And for the longest time, mo probably táwọn èèyàn pariwo sí pé Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn wọn aláwọ̀ kan lo any semi-automatic weapon àbí any standard rifle other than the days gun. And there's this program tí àwọn èèyàn allege, mo fẹ́ fi allege sí mi gẹ́gẹ́ nípa tó pé mo sọ, mo tó táwọn èèyàn sọ wípé Lubadu the national security adviser ó kò mọ fáwọn kan kó máa ṣe forest guard. Lóòótọ́ mi ò rí evidence pé ó kọ́ máa bóyá àkótá àwọn ṣe bí, but at least wọ́n náà wà ní program mo fi program yẹn wọ́n kò ní NAS test, that's Nigerian National Counter-Terrorism Strategy, tí wọ́n ṣe pẹ̀lú like bí civilian joint task force láti train àwọn èèyàn fún forest guard. Ṣé àwọn state governors wa wọ́n lè kó àwọn mẹ́mbà Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn gbòógè ẹ wá lọ dàwọn sábẹ́ program tẹ́bà tẹ̀lé fún wa tẹ́bà lè jáká lóògùn ẹ̀ tẹ́bà lọ dàwọn sábẹ́ program yẹn ó máa fún àwọn ẹ̀ka ṣe training fún wọn wọ́n lè gba àwọn standard weapon àwọn semi-automatic weapon yẹn wọ́n lè fi máa fi defend wa. Ọgbọ́n náà wà lè yí síbẹ̀ náà tábà kàn fún precious lábẹ́ lọ́gbẹ́ tábà sọ pé káàpù pẹ̀sì kan fún jẹ́ ká máa lo ammunition like that wọ́n lè máa gbà but tábà lo program tó ní tó wà existing ìṣẹ̀ tó máa kó àwọn bèétí yàrá àbí àwọn Haúsá tó máa gbébọn ní ọlọ́wọ́ kó máa guide forest wa káwọn kó àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn wọn lọ bá wọn ẹ train wọn kó bọ́ ní ọlọ́wọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kó máa guide forest wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyẹn tó ń kọ́ nǹkan sọ náà ni o oríṣiríṣi òkú sọ there's many ways to skin a cat. Sorry anybody cat mi ò ní pọ́n skin a cat yẹn but that's the point I'm just trying to make.
Mr. Ashino, thank you very much for your nice contribution. We have several comments from YouTube, most especially. We have Mr. Yomite who's saying that the boss is the court of the Southwest governors. If NSA could arm Mieti Allah in Kwara, why are the Southwest governors not requesting for automatic weapons for the Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn? It's like we have been distracted. Thank you very much. And he's saying that also, I think the president needs to let go NSA. He seems compromised, And I think he made a comment to your earlier statement about Buhari. He said Buhari wasn't interested in solving the insecurities during his term. His ultimate goal was to carve lands for through failed Ruga and its men. President is making a grave mistake. That's how he said things. Thank you very much, Mr. Yomite, and thank you very much, every other person who has made a comment. I think I read your video just went off. If you can kindly bring yourself back on. Here is from Facebook, Mr. Sakin Damilola Alfred. Let us look inward, starting from Moluwo and his Grand Mufti. These guys are taking dangerous steps, but nobody is talking. Osun State government also tolerated the extremism ideology being pushed out by the Sheikh Omolasan in Iwo. We need to start. We need to start calling them out and chasing the state government in Yoruba land to start going after them. Esheun, thank you very much.
Thank you. Actually, Terry, I need to comment on that last comment that.
Okay. Mo ń gbọ́ yín. Network yẹn ṣì ń fún wa ní ìṣòro. Maybe you just hold on. Do I?
It's actually not my network.
Okay.
It's coming from the room. From the bathroom. It's a one. Yeah.
You're not even showing on the back room here.
I check on the English because maybe I'm not hot on there.
You're not even here.
Okay, it's fine. Check, got me back.
Yeah. You're echoing seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Echo.
Ó pọ̀ gan.
Yeah, so it's better I leave it. It's okay.
Okay. Prince, can you mute yourself, Madam Ayokade, please? Okay, Prince of both kingdoms, you are next. Can we hear from you, please? After you, we have Mr. Goodworks.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the privilege to speak.
Okay.
Is am I audible?
We can hear you. Just try to speak a bit louder. It seems you are very close to maybe a generator. I don't know. It's noisy in your background.
All right. I just want to add a few things before I ask my question. Concerning the security situation in the country, I sincerely think we really have to increase the manpower of both our military and the police, because looking at the current manpower of especially the military, it's very, very, very poor. And like Arrest said, we have a lot of ungoverned spaces across the country. If we are to send every one of our soldiers out there, trust me, the barracks, the bases, everything will surely become empty because the manpower is not enough. We have less than 150,000 soldiers, less than 70,000 Air Force personnel, and less than 100,000 naval personnel. Imagine such numbers for a country of almost 200 million. It cannot work like that. We really have to increase the manpower, and I really blame previous administrations, especially from that of Goodluck Jonathan, because if they are taking this security situation serious, we will not be here today. Because if we were to say we should start increasing the manpower now, just the way the Tinubu administration started recently, they added almost 8,000 personnel just a few months ago. If we are to wait for that to fully mature, we are talking about another 3-4 years. And you know what will happen between now and the next 3-4 years if we are to wait for everything, the whole security architecture to fully mature. You know, these guys up north, they will just go on a killing spree, just as they are doing now. So I really blame the previous government for that in that aspect. But let's leave that aside. My question now too, I don't know if Are is still on.
Yeah, Are is on. Go ahead.
We have been discussing about state policing, but I have not really seen anyone give a detailed plan or process or explanation about how state police will be implemented. Talking about state police, are we are we talking about for the south now, for the southwest? Are we saying that Amotekun should be reorganized and maybe upgraded to the level of state police, or are we saying the current structure, the current police structure we have, will be collapsed into state police in the sense that the current police structure in each state will be collapsed into a state police and taken off from the hands of the federal government? Or are we going to just recruit and start all over again? That is, recruit more hands and form a new state police? Because we need to make these things clear. And from my own research, I really think while the National Assembly is trying to implement state police, because we know the kind of politicians we have. In the US, there's an article of Congress that gives the president the power to federalize the National Guard. The National Guard, which is under the power of the governors. Why they give the president that power is because, according to the article, it states that a governor can become a tyrant tomorrow just in case a state government refuses to act when it comes to security situations, emergency, and all that. It gives the president the power to federalize the National Guard. So I think such a clause should be also added to the law if we are to pass.
Okay, let me come in.
I really don't trust at all.
Prince.
So fundamentally, Nigeria has.
No,
Okay.
Okay, fundamentally, Nigeria has a problem. And the Nigeria has a problem with Nigerian constitution. I want to say something profounding tonight. Nigeria was set up not for prosperity, but unity at all costs. Those that were creating the constitution of Nigeria, especially post-1970, when the military boys, because let me tell you what the military boys did in Nigeria. That's why anybody that has any military background that was part and parcel of the military era of previous coup should never be allowed to govern Nigeria again or be allowed to participate. It's the bitter truth. They destroyed Nigeria. When from post-1970, it was coup upon coup. When they did a coup, when Shagari came in the Second Republic, after 4 years, 5 years, they took him out, and it has from Babangida straight to Abacha. We were supposed to have another civilian presidency in 1993. They destroyed it. When it was time to transit to this Fourth Republic, they still went to go and bring one of their own. So because they believe in they believe in control. When you go and listen to what people like David Mark said in time past, David Mark said that telephone is not meant for everybody. When they were saying, "Oh, is it not?" He said telephone is just meant for the elite and the aristocrats. There are some people in Nigeria, especially from that class of 1966 upward. They also have their civilian allies who believe that this feudal system is how Nigeria should be. That's how they think. That's why you see that some politicians, some young politicians, especially from the Yoruba extraction, where we don't practice classicism and elitism, they are also behaving like feudalists. The way they talk and they arrogate so much power to themselves. So you need to understand that. And we need to understand this reality. So this issue of state police, decentralization, even though we've been having little decentralization, everything that has been centralized in Nigeria has been useless. Almost everything. So part of the argument of Chief Obafemi Awolowo in the First Republic was that policing should be on the concurrent list, should be devolved to the federating structures. But Nnamdi Azikiwe, who thought that the Igbos could be the master race and the superior race within Nigeria, believed that having a form of regional or federating or regional police or state police could hamper his agenda. Because like I told you, a minority with the gun is the majority, while the majority with the gun, without the gun, is the minority. And people that wants to continue to keep places like Taraba, Benue, and Kogi to continue to say it is not. We never want any form of state police. You think somebody like Gumi will support state policing, where they will be wiping out mercenaries and jihadists of Fulani extraction that are killing farmers in Plateau or Benue states? Nigeria is far more complicated and dangerous than people think. People don't actually talk about why there is an outrage among Fulani elites and nationalists in the North against the current INEC chairman. The INEC chairman is a professor of law, where he wrote a white paper about the genesis and the pathology of the bloody crisis that happened in Jos. And part of what he wrote specifically about the Fulani jihadism spreading from Sokoto into Plateau State. He wrote it black and white many, many years ago, more than a decade. It was an intellectual fact-finding mission with evidences. Because in the minds, go and listen, one of the rhetoric of Pantami, where he was saying he was going to lead the Mujahideen to go and be fighting in those areas of the Middle Belt. Is still this conquest of the minorities in the Middle Belt. So how are you going to have indigenous state police in Plateau State, and you are going to bring in Mujahideen? They are going to wipe you out. So what we have is that some people want everybody to become sitting ducks. It's the bitter truth. Is someone like Buhari, with his political ideology, which is pan-Islamism, can become the president of Nigeria? Somebody worse than Buhari can still emerge from the North. And we will not be lucky the second time. For 8 years of Buhari, what we were hearing was cow, cattle colony, cow. Am I lying, Mr. Bakari?
Ben, Baro. Ote, o sọ fún ọ ká fún ọlọ́nà. Ká sọ bí tó máa gbà kó lóyún. Bóyá wà láti tó máa fún ọgbà wọlé. Cow. Nígbà tó dẹ̀ ti bóró tó ti bá tiẹ̀ lọ, ìjọ́ ìlẹ́jọ́ ro cow mọ́. That is why that's why you look at America. America is so restructured, is so decentralized. No matter the madness that
Trump is doing at the federal level, it doesn't affect the states. The states they are functioning like independent countries when it comes to basic amenities. So we have to find a way to push state policing. We need to decentralize everything in Nigeria. Decentralize everything decentralizable. So that we will be able to face the Yoruba political leaders. That's why we said think Yoruba first. We are not interested in what is happening in the east or what is happening in the north. The Yoruba political leaders must not say it is federal government that is controlling police. It is so that we can be able to defend ourselves. Policing is currently on the exclusive list. Electricity, railway used to be on the exclusive list. It was taken out. Now on the concurrent list, even under a Panarewa government led by Buhari. So what is the excuse of Tinubu not to be able to make that a priority? Why are we so preoccupied with what is not important? The last speaker spoke about the need for us to be able to have more personnel. If you like, go and have 2 million, it will not solve any problem. If you get 2 million personnel, but it's very well funded. This thing also has to do with funding. How do you think you're going to manage 1 million men? Federal policing. You pay their salary, you train them. How do you do that? What we are saying is the structure of policing has failed. Nobody practices this system of policing anywhere in the world. That was why I gave the example of Iraq. The Yazidis, the Assyrian Christians. That's why the Christians in Syria are currently doing something. They are also trying to get their own regional autonomy like the Kurdish people. So that what Lenibi continue to defend Darawan in Iraq. If you don't have autonomy where you can control your life, your local politics, your security in a multi-ethnic polarized society, you are going to be wiped out. There's not all this trying to be, you cannot be too politically correct for your survival. You cannot. And I want to thank everybody that listened to us today. May Olodumare continue to be with you, our people on YouTube, our people on Facebook, our people on TikTok, our people on Twitter. Then wo lórí Twitter live, tẹ̀lé wa lórí Twitter space. Gbogbo nǹkan yóò ní bàjẹ́. Ọlọ́run á máa wà pẹ̀lú yín títí láíláí. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní parun o. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní dàrú o. Ogun ò ní kó ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. The sacrifices of our fathers will not go in vain. Brothers and sisters, ẹ má bà ọkàn jẹ́. Ọlọ́run ló dá àkókò yìí pé àwa la gbọ́dọ̀ ja ìjà fún àwọn ọmọ wa. We cannot afford to lose. We cannot afford to lose. Let us ignore the àwọn Yoruba obedience, some of APC people, some extremists, some fundamentalists, àwọn ignorant people láàrin wa, or àwọn tó ń dalẹ̀, àwọn tó ń bá orúkọ àwọn èèyàn jẹ́, ignore wọn. Let us focus. It was the Ibadan army that went to go and face the jihadists at Ilorin on behalf of the entire Yoruba race. Tí Ìbàdàn bá dúró ní pé òun fẹ́ jẹ́ káwọn Ìwòrì join, òun fẹ́ káwọn. I'm not trying to say that Ibadan is superior, no. But whether anywhere you are listening to me tonight, ó wà lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì ni, ó wà níbi tó ti ṣe fàájì ni, ó wà níbi nínú ilé ìwòsàn ni, ó wà mọ́sálásí ni, ó wà church ni. ó ń jẹun ní, ó wà ní agbo àríyá ní, ó wà ní tọ́ílẹ̀tì ní, ó wà níbi tó ti ń dáná lọ́wọ́ ní, ó wà ní kíchìnì ló ti ń gbọ́ mi ní àṣálẹ̀. You are the one the Yoruba people need for this struggle. Don't think, our politicians will say, no, you have to stand up. Stand up. TYF will let show. Think Yoruba Force Organization, we only do the little we can do. And I want to thank the thousands of people that are doing small accounts, big accounts, that are fighting back and pushing back on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, online, offline, in powerful, physically and spiritually for the sake of this struggle. For those that are really, really praying for TYF, it is not easy to come here and be exposing our faces and all our hosts. It is not easy. So that I wá ní gbogbo ọgbẹ lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ láti continue iṣẹ́ yìí. Torí iṣẹ́ gbogbo wa ní. Olódùmarè á wà pẹ̀lú wa títí láéláé o.
Àmín, ẹ ṣeun ààrẹ. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Àní parun o, ìran Yorùbá, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní parun.
Àmín àṣẹ.
Gbogbo àwọn onípàdé a fi gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá Kogi, Yorùbá Kwara. A fi Olódùmarè á wà pẹ̀lú wọn o. Ọkàn wa ń bẹ pẹ̀lú wọn tọkàntọkàn. Olódùmarè á dẹ̀ gbogbo tá à ń fẹ́ láti jẹ́ kí Yorùbá civilization will survive nínú Nàìjíríà because it's a battle of our life. The amalgamation of 1914 is becoming a curse. I'm sorry to say that. Àwọn ìrántí àmì business tó ń kọ́ wa pẹ̀lú. Ó kọ̀dà bí pẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ kó Afghanistan ẹ̀kọ́ pẹ̀lú Germany ẹnìkan ní peace. It's impossible.
Láíláí.
Ẹ lọ kó Pakistan.
A cause. I think it's a cause already from the look of it.
Olódùmarè ará pẹ̀lú wa o. Ẹ ṣé o, ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, ẹ̀yin ìyá mi o.
Yeah, ẹ ṣeun ààrẹ. I'm close this. There's a question here from this is the last question. It says, can we say Yoruba land is currently under attack on multiple fronts? On one hand, we are facing security threats and terrorism filtering from the Kwara axis. And on the other hand, we are witnessing large-scale voter migration into Yoruba land from the southeast, with the intention of undermining political future of Yoruba land. How should we as a people understand and respond to this development, both in terms of security and political strategy, while preserving peace, fairness, and long-term interests of Yoruba land?
Pastor Joshua, àwọn náà béèrè yẹn. Ìbéèrè ńlá lẹ béèrè sí yẹn o. Ṣé ẹ rí, ẹ má jẹ́ ń parọ́ tàn yín, ojú ogun gidi la wà. And ogun yẹn tá a bá ṣera wa gírí, tá a dẹ̀ focus on what needs to be focused on, we will surely win.
Àmín àṣẹ.
So it requires discipline, it requires hard work, it requires dedication, and it requires being organized. There's a difference between shouting on social media, cursing on social media. It's part of it because we are pushing back about social engineering. Today, I don't know if you look at NSCIA or government agency, ni, come up NGO ni. Only la ṣe ń sọ pé NGO ní kíní yìí, ona fi arrogate, wọ́n dẹ̀ fund there, and billionaires wọ́n gbowó sí. Ìwọ̀n tó ń pa àfáà ní ẹni sọ́ọ̀mì ìdá Bódìjà, Oníkòròdú, wọ́n fún 500 million. Wọ́n kàn fún 500 million pé kó máa fi ṣe kíní, owó àdúrà, owó àlọ́ nínú sọ pé Sultan is your leader. Ó ti gbowó náà. tí wọ́n náà tó lọ ra bọ́ọ̀sì ó lọ ra àwọn bọ́ọ̀sì bébí àwọn ọmọ bọ́mbà bíi 4 ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní káwọn aláyàgbẹ̀ǹgbẹ̀ ó lọ rẹ́ǹtì àwọn aláìníṣẹ́ kan wọ́n náà fi wọ́n ṣe bodyguard. You also buy into the idea. That's where it works. It's a brutal theocratic capitalist system. And why things are getting worse like this, ni pé a ní political leaders tó ní dán ronú. Àwọn lọ́wọ́ understood this matter, this reality. Ló fi lọ kọ́ arch house fáwọn Yorùbá Muslims ní Mecca àti Medina. Nígbà táyé Western region, so that táwọn Yorùbá bá lọ Mecca, àwọn Yorùbá wá treat wa bí ọba ní ìyà ò ní jẹ wọ́n. Nàìjíríà gba ọgbẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wa ní now. But there's nothing like that. Our political leaders, they are not interested in the protection of Yoruba land. And Yoruba land, then a pot of soup. How can you not protect your pot of soup? Your pot of soup is Yoruba land. Why are you not protecting your pot of soup? Pastor Joshua, mo tún fẹ́ padà sórí ìbéèrè yín. Ogun yẹn lájà o, kìí ṣe ogun àdá àti ìbọn o. Àjà ogun yẹn lójú méjèèjì ni, kò ń ṣe pé no, ní choice. Olódùmarè tó gbé generation dìde mọ̀ pa wà capable láti protect ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. And he will give us what it takes to do the job and be successful.
Thank you. Good work. We almost done. Okay, can you just give us that question in just 30 seconds? Good works, okay?
Colin.
Yeah.
So my question is, the NSA, actually came up with a forest guard. Will that be enough to protect us in the meantime?
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It just sort of.
And also,
yeah.
Can you say me?
Go ahead.
I also wanted to ask, how did the Fulani manage to hijack every Islamic organization for themselves in Nigeria?
How did the Tutsis manage to hijack Rwanda?
Shembo, good work.
Yeah, I can hear you.
If you don't have an agenda, if you are not organized and you don't have an agenda, those who have an agenda will use you for their own agenda.
Benny.
If your own life ni pe kema lo party, kema dodo ijo berekadie, ijo dadakwada le ife ma se káàkiri. Suicidal empathy, kema protest, kema gba tiaga sojú, kema jaja oníjàkiri, kema ṣe human rights kiri. Àwọn tó ní plan wọ́n máa gbà lọ́wọ́ yín, wọ́n dẹ̀ fi yín ṣẹrú. In Uganda, the Museveni is from the minority of the minority. Museveni, Yati Museveni ti wá láti mi Uganda is just 1% of the population of Uganda. Omo Museveni currently is the head of the Ugandan military. Ibo làwọn other ethnicities wà. Wọ́n ti tẹ̀ wọ́n rí pa. So Museveni ti lò almost 40 years in power. Tọ́mọ ẹ̀ bá tún bọ́ síbẹ̀, òun náà tún lò another 40 years. Tọ́mọ ẹlòmíì náà bá tún bọ́ síbẹ̀, òun náà tún lò another 40 years. Invariably, one ethnicity minority kan lè máa rule Uganda for the next 200 years. Ẹ̀dá máa sọ òyìnbó lórí social media. During time military, sharing to Kobawa is that ibi tẹ́ bá ti láwọn expansionists tí ẹ bá wà brutal in the pushback against expansionists, wọ́n máa ń destroy everybody. To bá gbé Fulani nìkan là ń face àlè ní problem yìí, but we are facing also the Igbos with their expansionist Lebensraum projects of expansionism, of domination. If you observe, Igbos are looking to politically take over Yoruba land. Fulanis have understood pé àwọn ò lè lo sword mọ́. What are the Fulanis? They are using religion. And both are potent. Both tools are potent. Both tools are potent. Because Catholicism was one of the biggest tools that sustained Roman Empire. So the Fulanis have understood that sword can no longer sustain the Sokoto Caliphate. They are not using Islam, political Islam, to sustain the Sokoto Caliphate. Political Christianity gave Christianity another almost 1,000 years. At least gave them another 800 years for the Roman Empire to survive. Political Islam can give the Fulanis another 1,000 years if you allow them. If you allow them. So, internship immediately tí civil war parí, làwọn ti move sí plan B, but ní ọpọlọ, all are disciplined. They are not like Yoruba people. Tẹ́gbẹ́ ọ̀tẹ̀, tẹ̀m̀bẹ̀lẹ̀kún, ó pọ̀ láàrin àwọn èèyàn tiwa. Go and look at the Fulani people. If you see brilliant minds among the Fulanis, they don't sabotage and destroy them. Yoruba na let marry brilliant minds. Táwọn tí ò dẹ̀ níbi lọ, wọ́n dẹ̀ máa destroy ẹ̀, wọ́n máa gun lẹ́gùn, wọ́n máa destroy ẹ̀. It doesn't happen around among the Fulanis. They don't do that. They understand exceptional people in their midst and they support. That's why when I saw the way NSCIA was conceived, I said these people are brilliant. This is empire building. And they did it with backing under the military junta. They perfected the job during the time of Murtala Muhammad. And our fathers, the Yoruba leaders, Muslim leaders, they protested against that madness. And they will now select greedy ones in your midst. Mafa Omora. So we can only talk. What we can do, if you observe, they went to go and attack TYF posts, some extremists. They went to go and attack TYF posts. They did not, they cannot attack the League of Imams in Yoruba land tó gbé publication jáde. Àwọn tá a gbé tá a publicize ẹ̀ náà lọ́wọ́ attack. Because wọ́n fẹ́ censor yín ni wọ́n fẹ́ pa yín lẹ́nu mọ́ ni. And I was gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ push back ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́ àìní ṣerú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tẹ́ join láti pariwo láwọn àwọn ọ̀dàlẹ̀ àníwá. Tẹ́ push back. You don't keep quiet for Salafists and Wahhabis. Wọn ò lójú tì, Ọlọ́run ni wọ́n. You push back against them. You push back radically against them. Kinto Law, next week, all of you must bring new people to come and watch this program. This program should be getting to at least 20,000 Yoruba people in a week in order to be able to get to the roots, to be able to get to necessary places. Invite your friends and families. I've been told new people joined and listened and are enjoying this program. Please, this program is meant for all Yoruba people and all lovers of freedom. Whether you are from the Middle Belt, even whether you are from the Southeast, even whether you are from the South, all over Africa. Because this is the message of hope. We are not here to preach idealism. We are here to preach real politics for the survival of our people. We are patriotic Nigerians. We are patriotic Nigerians because Yoruba people are not looking for how to go and impose Yoruba value system on people of Zamfara and Sokoto. Why should the people of Sokoto and Zamfara be trying to impose their value system on people of Ondo and Ekiti? Are they building an empire? We'll talk about it next week.
Sure, thank you very much. As we close, more and space very early this morning, more can connect. Anonymously, tẹnìkan sọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho ńkọ́ kíníkan ọmọ Yorùbá ló ní pé òun ló gbé Sunday Igboho jáde as a topic níbi tó ní sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní tó ń pa èèyàn kiri Nàìjíríà lẹ́nìkan wá ní pé kí ni problem wọ ọmọ nìyí ṣé bọ́n Yorùbá ní ẹ́ nígbà tí wọ́n mú Àlàmí pé ó ń fún àwọn kíní lówó àwọn apanijayé lówó kí ni wọ́n sọ ń gbà yẹn gbogbo wọn kúrò àwọn dènà ó dènà kán ṣàdúrà fún àwọn ṣàdúrà fi tí wọn ìwọ fẹ́ pa títí ẹrún ókè náà kò sí wàhálà Yorùbá ẹjọ́ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ká parun bọ́lọ́run ṣe gbìyànjú ká má parun àwọn náà fúnra láti rí pé a gbìyànjú láyé ara tiwa pé a ní parun because God will not do for man what a man can do for himself ní kẹ́ lọ gbé ìbọn ní kẹ́ lọ gbé àdá nǹkan tá à ń sọ ni pé ọgbọ́n ó ju agbára lọ ìmọ̀ ó ju agbára lọ tá a bá lo ọgbọ́n tá a bá àwọn èèyàn wa sọ̀rọ̀ ìwọ tó wá ní ọkùnrin tó ní ọ̀rẹ́ tó ní àǹtí tó ní sísítà let's bring them up on TYF kó máa gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ ọjọ́ méjì ní ọjọ́ sátidé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí máa kàn wọ́n lọ́kàn á tọ́jú wọn lọ́kàn wọ́n á rí pé tòótọ́ pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí nìkan là ní níbi kankan wọn because Nàìjíríà wa gba nọ́mbà ilé ní ibo ni Yorùbá fi sáwọ̀ ṣé Benin Republic wa gbà wá ní ṣé Benin Republic lè gbà wá ní tàwa ní ká sá lọ Ghana nǹkan ṣé Ghana lè gbàgbó Yorùbá land kó lè gbà wá àdè ní sáfẹ́nì kankan torí ilẹ̀ yìí ilẹ̀ bàbá wa ni wọ́n fi jogún fún wa ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ní àbá ta sílẹ̀ láti rí pé ilẹ̀ yìí ó jẹ́ ilẹ̀ títí wọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní náà ti pa ní orílẹ̀ yìí kábàlẹ̀ yìí ní káwá lè wà ní ayé ní àsìkò yìí bẹ́ẹ̀lì tí máa ń kà Jésù sọ́gbà kan ní pé the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. The question is, who is supposed to be wiser? Is it the children of the world or the children of light? Let's take that home tonight. Ọlọ́run ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kò ní parun lójú tiwa Ọlọ́run àbọ̀gbé wa lékè àdìgbé tiwa ẹ̀fọ́ lékè àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o àyín tẹ́ fowó ránṣẹ́ sí wa o àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín àrọ́wọ́ yín ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣàdúrà fún wa náà àti oníṣẹ̀ṣe o àti onígbàgbọ́ àtàwọn mùsùlùmí òdodo tó ń ṣàdúrà fún wa lójoojúmọ́ ní ẹ̀5 tó wá ti ń kírun àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè kò ní dojú àdúrà ti gbogbo wa ẹ ṣeun ó dàárọ̀ ó tún dàsí tó ń bọ̀. Thank you very much.